Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Melissa Yang, for the excellent introduction. I'm very excited to share this topic with you. This topic I have lots of passion. It's to streamline information analysis in global nutrition. So, nutrition needs a data evolution. In 2014, the first global nutrition report proposed that tackle malnutrition requires a data revolution. So you can see this data revolution chain has been proposed. So first, we need to prioritize which indicator to collect, which area to collect data. And then we collect and create and collect data set, and we curate the data set, we aggregate the data set, make the structure nice, and then report the field data. Then we move to analysis. We synthesize the data and make the report. After that, we translate the data to what's a recommendation and disseminate to the stakeholders. After the decision maker saw the data, they make the decision making. And you can see that data analysis is using in all these components. So this is really, we need a data revolution. So how do we do this data revolution, you might think? So at the same time, there is a revolution of computational programming. Computer programming has flourished in the recent decades. So when we talk of programming, people always think, oh, it's about AI, ChatGPT, and machine learning. But programming is not just AI or machine learning. Programming is anything related to solving a problem through code. It has lots of flexibility, and it can have lots of impact beyond the AI or machine learning. For example, people don't know how the vitamin A supplement at the local level. So then we can write code, write software to help the policymaker to understand how vitamin A supplements are distributed at the local level. So what is computer programming? So now computer programming is as valuable as writing. If you can write, you should be able to program. So in the young kids, programming is put lots of emphasis. And I think it's a great tool. So it has opened up a world of possibility for research that was previously unimaginable. Because a researcher can use custom software and algorithm and analyze and process massive amount of data that previously we cannot imagine, and with great precision and speed. So now we know two parts. We know that programming can solve lots of problems. We know the nutrition information analysis. So how do we link these two components? What are the toolbox that we can use specifically to link this toolbox? So what I think is we can develop user-friendly software, as well as we can use automation, and then we can do data visualization. So in today's presentation, I will focus on development of user-friendly software and automation. The data visualization deserves a presentation by itself. So in the development software, I will focus on what's the reason to develop software, and software that I developed in the past 5-6 years. So why we need to develop software? So in the nutrition field, they have lots of analysis that are considered very complicated. For example, dietary data analysis, modeling, adjust for inflammation, they can be complicated in the field of nutrition. So if we develop software, it can have easier analysis and it can save time. It can simplify and streamline this analysis for research and policy analysts. It also can increase reproducibility. So sometimes data analysis A and analyze the data have a different result from data analysis B. So why is that? Maybe they loop the wrong variable, maybe they use the wrong union. So if we have this software, it can increase the reproducibility. So it's always give you the same answer every time you use the software. So it also can facilitate collaboration and capacity building. So we can share the method, we can share the software, we can share the code. We don't need to train people from the ground down. We don't need to train people what the summary statistic, what's the regression. We can give them the software, generate the results they want. So I want to introduce a few software that I have developed. So the first is a dietary data analysis software. During my PhD and postdoc, I was focused on nutrition study on dietary analysis, and I collaborated with the National Cancer Institute. So I was main lead for the National Cancer Institute one-day method, and which solved the problem people only collect one-day dietary record. How do they estimate the long-term dietary intake? And I also developed this simulating intake of micronutrients for policy learning and engagement, simple macro. In this macro, it can do dietary analysis plus modeling. So it's really one has every features. And after I moved to Emory, I was given the task to make BRINDA, the project that we are in that we're going to introduce later, very streamlined. So at that time, I developed this inflammation adjustment software. And then we talk about inflammation adjustment. How about we analyze all the micronutrients? Then we created this Samba software, statistical apparatus on micronutrients biomarker analysis, R package, and associated Shiny app. So let's dive down one of the software that I developed for dietary analysis. So for dietary analysis, dietary intake can vary significantly within a person. Today you eat a mango, tomorrow you don't eat a mango. But then your vitamin intake change dramatically. So when we talk about diet to disease, whether you eat a turkey today is important or you eat a turkey every day is important. I think eat a turkey every day or eat pork every day is important to disease. So we are interested in from 1-day record, 2-day record to know the long-term dietary intake. This is what I'm interested in. But the dietary record, we cannot follow people by 365 days. Then we'll need statistic modeling to reduce the within-person variation and accurately estimate long-term dietary intake. So there are some established methods, such as National Cancer Institute method, can be used to utilize a long-term dietary intake. So you can see, I give you some visual analysis. So this is daily nutrient intake. So this is distribution. This have a large within-person variation. So you can see the distribution is a little bit fat. And then after we remove the within-person variation, it's become a skinny distribution. And then on the left side is below the estimated average requirement is dietary inadequacy. And above the UL, the tolerable upper intake level, is what is above the UL. So it means the person have excessive intake. So when you shrink the distribution, change the distribution, it's all required advanced modeling. So this is the original, the NCM method. So you will have one 24-hour record per person, 2 or more 24-hour record per person. Then you first go to the box A, is one NCI macro. You generate parameter estimate and linear predictor value, and use box 2 to go to NCI district macro. And then from district macro, you go to box 5, then you can estimate the distribution of usual intake of food and nutrient in a population. But the standard error is very difficult to estimate because dietary intake is skewed. So then you will go to number 6 and number 7, which is using some statistical method as BR and bootstrapping to estimate dietary intake. And then if you want to say, oh, I want to incorporate a supplement intake, then you need to modify it as a box 4 to this algorithm. You can see this algorithm need to use multiple macros, and you need to modify in each way to estimate dietary intake. And it takes lots of PhD and researchers' time. So then I wrote a wrapper on it, so I called it a simple macro. So in the simple macro, you can cover all of them. So basically, you have 24-hour record inside. You use simple macro. You can estimate what's the effect of fortification, the effect of supplementation on usual diet intake. It's really streamlined the procedure of dietary intake. So the simple macro has been used in multiple dietary surveys such as Cameroon, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, South Africa national micronutrient surveys, and NHANES. And we published this paper, and you can find it in the DOI. So after I moved to BRINDA, so BRINDA stands for stands for biomarkers reflecting inflammation and nutrition determinants of anemia. So this research group was established more than 10 years ago, compiled lots of data from different parts of the country. We have 53 country surveys and collect lots of data on individual. We have 39,000 preschool children, 50,000 women, 21,000 adolescents, 28,000 school-age children, and 14,000 pregnant women. For this data, we generate lots of research questions to understand how inflammation play a role in micronutrients estimate. So as for March 21st, 2023, our 64 papers has been cited more than 4,000 times, and we have 26 H-index paper. And you can see that there's a lot of data, and we make lots of recommendations on how to estimate micronutrients biomarker. So we developed method for adjust for inflammation on micronutrients biomarker, such as vitamin A, iron, folate, B12, zinc, and vitamin D. So this method was published in a series paper and provide a systematic approach to assessing micronutrient status in the presence of inflammation. So the BRINDA work has been recognized by international committee and included in guidelines such as World Health Organization and CDC micronutrients manual and toolkits. So in the past 10 years, as a researcher, we published lots of papers. You can see they have lots of papers published over here. And different papers recommend different guidelines for different biomarkers. So when people try to use BRINDA adjust method, they will say, oh, should it just be adjusted by AGP or CRP? Should it apply to preschool age children or women reproductive age? They end up needing to read at least 7 papers to understand the BRINDA inflammation adjustment method, which really prevent other people to use this method and prevent us from doing capacity building in the country. So what I've been thinking is, how do we streamline this method? So we developed this BRINDA R package, summarize evidence in the past 10 years, as well BRINDA SAS macro, because they have lots of users on SAS as well. We published a paper that explains this the theory part underlying the R package, the SAS macro, so the academician can read this paper to end it from door to door. So you can see this BRINDA inflammation adjusted R package and SAS macro. They are very user-friendly. They are all in one. They can be applied to all the micronutrients biomarker in our previous published paper. And then we publish it on the Journal of Nutrition, Nutritional Methodology and Mathematical Modeling section. And this is a great session that we publish in lots of papers from this session. Really enjoying this session. So the BRINDA R package is published on R-Crane. So you can see this R-Crane. And then just a side note, when you publish an R package on R-Crane, they don't check the scientific content. They just check whether your code is running. So whenever you use any package on R-Crane, please check the scientific content yourself. So this is my tips. So it's really fun. This is my first package. I couldn't get much support from publishing a package in the nutrition field because they have very few packages. Only WHO Anthro was published on R-Crane. So, but we were able to debug and follow the tutorial people put on YouTube and able to publish this package. So now we have this ability to publish multiple packages. Sorry, I have this allergy towards pollen, so I cough regularly. So then we published a SAS macro on the open science framework. Because SAS, there's no official report that you can publish SAS macro. So we put in OSF so people can download. And OSF also provide a DOI for all the packages so people can cite it from our DOI. So publishing a package is not our tool, not our aim. Our aim is to people use this software. So we post on our software. So this is an example of our SAS macro. So in the SAS macro, we'll provide citation. We provide a YouTube video, which is around 10 minutes YouTube video, and everything translated with subtitle. And we provide sample code. So for each sample code, we'll have sample code, sample data, and the macro. So people will able to download our sample code and then use a YouTube video to learn this SAS macro. So I will say that after the SAS macro and our package published, I got much fewer number of emails. People don't ask me questions anymore. And if they ask questions, I said, please read the YouTube video, and if you have any questions, ask us. So then people don't bother me anymore, which is great. So then, like when we see the BRINDA method, we just think about is that, like, okay, we publish our package, we publish SAS macro, and people ask, what about data? What about SPSS? We cannot publish something in every single statistics software. This is just not feasible and not good use of time. So what we should do, we decide to publish a BRINDA R Shiny app. So in this Shiny app, people just need to open their website and upload their data, and then results will be downloaded. So in this case, that people can really enjoy it without knowing anything about R, anything about SAS, because as you know, SAS is actually not a statistics software, it's a programming software. It's a big learning curve for people to learn, and SAS is very expensive. It's prevent people from using it. So when we think about, I publish this inflammation adjustment, which is a small section of micronutrients analysis. So when we think about it, micronutrient analysis have lots of components. So we would like to publish one package that can analyze from end to end. So then the Samba was developed. So I really like the name Samba. So it's like people can dance during like nutrition analysis, which is great. So this Samba can analyze various micronutrients biomarker from multiple data sets. It can conduct BRINDA inflammation adjustment. It can accounting for complex survey design when appropriate, and use recommended age and sex cutoff. And it can produce a report of summary statistic and prevalence estimate of micronutrient deficiency. So it's a really all-in-one package. So this is the algorithm of Samba. So basically, Samba have multiple steps from loading the data set, change the micronutrients union to the correct, the standardized union, change the micronutrients variable name to the standard variable name, adjust for inflammation, estimate parameter based on the correct design. And if the user have any errors in their code, in the information they provide, then they will provide guidance to correcting those errors until the user provides the correct error to estimate the macronutrients data. So what's the future plan for Samba? It's currently under CDC clearance, will be submitted to a journal publication in April, and an interactive web app is being finalized. So people can just use this app, Shiny app, to upload their data and get their results. So it's really good, useful capacity building. So another tool that we're talking about is automation. So what is the use of automation? So automation is developing a software. We know that developing a software might be difficult, but we can use automation in our computer programming. So this is a code that I really like, is that improving your programming skill pays off because code is a force multiplier. Once you have solved a problem once, the code allows you to solve it much faster in the future. So sometimes, like I think in our PhD, or sometimes we always, if we can inherit someone's old code, it can make our PhD much more efficient. But then some professor will just say, you should learn everything yourself. You should not use other people's code. But I don't really agree with that. I think if you use someone's code, you can build on that, and you can struggle with the more difficult question, and then you can advance science. So this is all the software automation. Even we provide the code for students, they still need to learn. They still need to build on it. So I think it's a powerful tool in the research world and as well as training students. So why automation is important in the nutrition field? Because many nutrition data sets have a similar structure. They always collect the same variable, calculate the same indicators. So we see this indicator again, the fast fortification indicator, women dietary diversity score, household food insecurity score, micronutrients biomarkers. So as a researcher, when we see this indicator again and again, we found the patterns, and we want to automate the analysis. It can help us increase the scalability and efficiency of data analysis. So the question is, how do you automate? So I think this is a very important thing that we teach to all the students and when we do capacity building. So you need to identify the patterns in repetitive code and test. And you need to write a package or script based on the repetitive code. You test the automation codes to ensure they are functioning correctly. So you need to compare without automation and with automation the same. And you use version control to manage changes. The last one I think is most important. You need to do documentation. I think documentation is half of the battle of writing code. If you just write code to make it running but not document it, then people cannot use it. People cannot understand it. You are not able to pass down your legacy. So this is what I think. So this is the automation process. I want to give an example of BRINDA data. And you can see this typical publication of BRINDA data. So they publish something about different countries in preschool age children. They have age, they have CRP, they have AGP information, and CRP they provide what the mean is, what's bigger than 5 milligram per liter, that's what's the inflammation level, the same as CRP. So when I look at this data, I'll just say, what are the common patterns of this data? So when I inherit code from BRINDA, I saw all this researchers' code, read about it. First, they separate 20 countries into 20 different data sets. And for each biomarker, they run the different biomarker. And then their code is 8,000 lines. So I said, this is like very repetitive, and it's very likely to make mistakes. So what do? We look at this data, we analyze multiple biomarkers from many countries. And what we always generate is summary statistic with complex survey design. Survey, weighted mean, geometric mean, IQR, and proportion. And sometimes we do a little bit difficult, it's like bivariate analysis and multivariate analysis and those kind of things. So there are common patterns. So then we go to the step 2. So step 2, I will write a package for each of the summary statistics. For example, getting proportion, getting IQR, getting univariate analysis, getting multiple variable analysis. So I write a package to calculate all the summary statistics. And I go to number 3. So I connect our automatic package. It's called map. You can see over here, it means I first group the data set by country year, and I apply map. It means I apply the same summary statistic for each single different country data set. And I want to get IQR, and I input what my variable is age month, what my survey weight, and how many digits I want. This get AQR other is my package, and map is to give automatic data process to run a loop through all the data set. So after that, we'll connect it with the R Markdown language. So the R Markdown language gave us very nice PDF output that is very similar to the journal publication. So I have this with the R Markdown. So other step I'm not including here is that we include testing and we include documentation. So make sure that all analysis is correct. So with this automated process of BRINDA, we are able to generate multiple papers a year. We scale up our publication. Last year, we were able to publish 10 papers with a small research group. I think it's pretty impressive, and thanks to the leadership of Dr. Melissa Yang. And our student has enjoyed this automation process. We're able to support 3 global health student theses this year, and we're very thankful for our great research assistant, and in Emily Nikulaga, her research is on assessing role of inflammation on biomarker in school-age children and adolescents, and our Chelsea Cole, who is also here, and her work is assessing the role of inflammation on vitamin A biomarkers, and our student Mandeline Zila, and her work is on multiple biomarkers. And you can see all this paper have similar patterns, but we're able to do the analysis, and then we're able to use this analysis to link with the biological pathway and to advance science. We also sponsored 2 biostatistics students' theses, and their thesis is a little bit in-depth in statistical analysis, not just use the package we write. They also need to write lots of their code, but they use the same reproducibility and R Markdown to make their code reproducible. So there's a Dr. Moncadu's study on iron biomarker profile and prediction of iron deficiency anemia among women of reproductive age in the US. And Ziwei Zhang, her paper is more about a method paper. It's a statistical method for modeling the association between repeated measure of hemoglobin during pregnancy and adverse birth outcome. So there have lots and lots of challenge in developing software and automation in the global nutrition, because developing generalizable software and automation require a greater investment of time and resource, and then it's faster just write code for one single research question. But we also need to think about others. So I struggle doing my PhD about the dietary analysis. I don't want other people to struggle. So I developed this simple macro. But people really need those kind of streamlined software, but they don't want to invest in it. So, and also manuscript for software do not follow the traditional format of original research. Like original research include introduction, method, results, and discussion. So this is not applied to software development. So it's very difficult to find a suitable journal. So it's also difficult to find suitable venue to promote and advertise the new software. So in general, it's lack of funding. People like to invest in AI, precision health, invest in machine learning, but when they talk about information analysis, they said, oh, everyone can do it, but not everyone can do it, and this field really needs it. This is what I think. So I propose some solution, like it's just like what I think and what I learned from this field. So normally we nested information analysis under big grant. So in my PhD and postdoc, we got a big grant from Gates Foundation on dietary modeling. So at that time, I developed the dietary analysis software. And then with BRINDA, because one of our work is to capacity building, we can now do capacity building and share code and copy paste to different countries. So we build the software development under the capacity building. So if we really want to advance this field and advance the information analysis, we have used this like nested under the big grant. And also, so for academia, like software, sometimes we don't consider like it's a real publication. Like I think it's a real publication. So what I have done before, just to introduce software and underlying theory with the journal publication. So I will introduce this software with the journal publication and provide the link for the software, so people can read about it, use it, and also contact me. So I feel that they have some journal that we found that have very flexible format, which is my favorite journal. It's Journal of Nutrition Method and Mathematical Modeling section. I published like 5 papers under this section, all about modeling. Really love this editor that who I don't know, but always accept my paper and promote it on Twitter and write ASM blog about it. Like I really love this editor. Like this just feel like someone really see my work and then think it's useful for the field. I also think like we make software, we cannot stop there. We always need to make tutorial with the software. The aim of the software is not have a publication or have a software developed. It's for people to use it. So normally we have great that we are at Emory, we have an excellent student body. They help us prepare the YouTube video. They help us transcribe it and put everything on our website. Very grateful for the students to be able to provide this help for us so people are able to use it. And also we networked with experts in the field. When I have a software developed, I always contact some expert like from USAID or from Micronutrients Forum. So sometimes I include them as a reviewer for my paper, so they automatically promote my paper that I have been doing, and I got good reviews from them. Maybe they reviewed it. So what is a future direction that I think is very important to improve the institutional data literacy? So when we talk about it, we need to invest in student and staff knowledge. We need to invest in software development. We need to invest students and staff to use the software. I think this is how we see like how do we improve this institutional data literacy. So when I talk to my student, I said, I think this coding is just like art. Like some people can create it, some people can interpret it, some people they pretend they know it. So for students standard, I said, some student maybe you don't need to develop a software, but you need to understand this is a good code practice. This is a good software. This is what I can use. And when later you become a boss in the field, you're able to hire people with the correct criteria. So this is what I think. And then the institutional, they can improve their capacity to analyze and utilize the nutrition data. Then it can lead to better outcome of a global nutrition field. So overall, we need to have the two parts. We need to improve the software. So we have the software with easy input, formatted results, and it can be used directly in the report, as well as graphs with visualization. We provide good training material, and we become better teacher. So the two parts are all important to improve the data literacy. And I think it's an important part of the future in global nutrition. So I finished my talk over here. I'm really grateful to all the people generous fund our project. And for my dietary analysis work, I'm thankful for the US dietary analysis team. And then for BRINDA work, very grateful for the BRINDA members and students and all the people contributing data to the BRINDA group. And at the same time, we are recruiting intern, so the intern I use it as a chance to do advertisement. So we're going to maintain our website to make a good user experience to all the users of BRINDA. So we need an intern who can do website management with the Wix, who can do newsletter, and who can manage some social media content. So thank you very much, and I'm open for questions. Oh, please.
My question is a bit ignorant, so I'm sorry for that. Normally when people do data analysis, they wait until the very, very end, and then they panic and realize, oh my gosh, I have to arrange my data set in a specific way. What software do I use? What macro do I use? What R shiny package do I use? And then upload it correctly. Is there a way to help nutrition researchers or people who do surveillance projects do things more upstream? Like for example, in some of the WHO guidance manuals for nutrition surveillance programs for micronutrient surveillance or, let's say, ferritin. Can there be some text written there to say, plan ahead for when you do your analysis, not only collect your data, but analyze your data, think about how to do that in advance. Is there a way to have people think about this more upstream?
Yeah, so in the CDC, WHO, UNICEF manual, they already said, like, think about analyze your data before you collect data. But people see this sentence, they cannot translate how should they do. That's a problem. So when I was in an Ethiopian project, we collect more than 10,000 pregnant women in like more than 30 districts. So in that phase, we cannot at the end and say, oh, this data have some problem. And then the people will say, so many data did you collect all the report. So what did we do is that before we collect the data, we create dummy tables. We randomly generate all the value for the key what we match with the questionnaire, and we already use R Markdown to generate all the report. So when the first district data in, we put it inside, see the report is what we want with all the visualization, and we provide timely report for every single data we collect in the next year. So then stakeholder can read the data. But I think people really need to have a person in their team to think about it, to look at your data. And then in the recent all the NIH report, grant that I wrote, which I did not win any recently. So we all write that we're going to generate this report to have data from day one, data result from day one. I think that should be a practice, like for all the surveillance, for all the research, they should have data results on day one for monitoring. And then at the end, you don't stress out and find all your data are wrong or something like that.
Thanks for a very nice presentation. So probably related to what Dr. Leon mentioned, but one of the key barriers in using large data sets is touched on a little bit, like in your report, is they may be formatted differently, etc. So can you comment on sort of that whole data harmonization that's needed.
Yeah,
So you can run your
yeah, so,
packages, right?
yeah,
I came a little late, maybe you talked about it, but
yeah,
we all know when we're running these, you know, one of these routines to run, they all have to be labeled similarly, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, totally. So this is what the Samba collected, because at that time we are writing the Lancet publication for estimate the global prevalence of micronutrients. Like previously, someone said, oh, they have 2 billion people, they are suffering from micronutrient deficiency. And we said, oh, that's really 2 billion. Oh, it's a lot, like more and a lot less. And we tried to get what is the sources for 2 billion. We couldn't get. So at that time, we decided to collect all the micronutrient data in the world. And then we're going to analyze data. And when you have the micronutrient data from all the world, you find they are in different format, different variable name, different union. So at that time, we said we cannot hire research assistant to process each data one by one. So then this package was developed. So basically, in a template, you write down what the variable name is in your data set, what's the union of your data set, and what's the survey design. Do you have a cluster? Do you have a strata? And after all the information was put in an Excel spreadsheet, this R package can run and generate summary statistics. So this is the one effort that we put. So I think this also can be run in dietary analysis. They have many data, but I was not asked to do that project, so I haven't done that. Does it answer your question?
That step of data harmonization sometimes is quite time-consuming because you need to have that standard template. So this is what I would like it to look, but to make it look like that still requires clear documentation on the source data set. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I think that may be like, I feel that's a future ChatGPT can do it. This is what I feel. Like I read that Microsoft and Copilot project, it seems you are able to talk to the Excel and then they can template it. And then they can read from a survey and to do it. So I think it might be the future direction because you see this one, you still need to put everything in the Excel spreadsheet. What's the union, what's the lab method, what's the limit of detection. And this actually is very labor intensive, and our student has been doing that, like put it in. After you put it in, they can analyze. They save some time from the analyzer data, but it does not save the time when you find all the correct information. And I think that's a future direction. It just, can anyone find the correct information and put it in my Excel? That's also... Yeah, definitely that. I think that's a future direction. I think there's the same method as like people look at my expenses from credit card. How do they put the correct category of my credit card? So that is the same theory. Like if people can read a survey manual, they can put all the correct information into Excel spreadsheet. So I think that's the future direction because that's the most labor intense part. Like if people don't do this documentation early on in the survey, for people who find it later, it's like take lots and lots of time, even cannot find all the information. And with staff turnover, we face a problem. We cannot find gestational age for one data set. They are like negative 500 days to positive 1,000 days as gestational age. This is not be able to use that data set. So that happens.
She's been training a small army on data harmonization.
Yeah. Sorry, my pollen allergy. So. Okay, sorry. I just cannot talk for a really long time, so thank you.
pregnancy data sets probably have multiple time points, data collection. Is some have been set up for longitudinal data sets, or is it primarily meant to be applied to cross-sectional?
Cross-sectional, yeah.
My last,
No, go right ahead.
I guess my last is more common. Is, this is really important in evaluating work. And as you said, it falls, it's not
Sorry.
productivity. It's so critical for global health, for program monitoring and evaluation. And I know from some biostatistics, scratch. So I think by then I know you have that background reaching out and more advanced statistics and now with the AI initiative, how productivity is assessed and change a little bit. But have you thought about intellectual property for this? I mean, everybody learns free software, so
I think for Gates Foundation funded project, we are not allowed to put because we were thinking about this for dietary software. So when we analyze the dietary software, lots of industry actually are interested in that. So what is that? Like Mead Johnson, or they all interested in that. Said, oh, what do we know? What's the DHA in the pregnant women diet? So we can formulate our supplement. So lots of industry are interested. So we say maybe we can patent it to earn lots of money, but all the Gates Foundation, they don't allow you to do something like that. So, but the other grant we can maybe do it.
publication is accessible to people, etc. But you still get the credit when people cite you, they cite you. And so I think it's really important as we have these conversations. It's not maybe a patent, but you created this. This is your. Did you see what I'm saying? That intellectual property is your. You're not selling it. You're making it available. Blah blah blah. But it is intellectual property. You can talk more. I mean, I think that's important because why should you not get the credit in terms of people use it and they will cite?
Yeah.
You see, we can talk. I think biostatistics, they have ways of doing that, and I don't see why they should have. They don't say people can't cite your paper with the authorship, etc. They just say it should be easy and accessible and why should they? So they're not going to make money off of the app. But whenever anyone uses it, etc., then it should come back.
Okay.
The attribution should be there.
Yeah, totally. I will follow your lead how to do this. I will also talk to them. So.
It's like methods, right?
Yeah.
People develop one, I mean, in the lab, right? When people have developed, we have people set up, say, water, they've had Gates Foundation done. If they develop a method to detect this particular virus or whatever, it's innovation, right?
Yes.
So why should that innovation be protected? Because it's your innovation. Or the group's, however.
Yeah, it's a good innovation.
Anyway,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'd be happy to follow up. I mean, I think that she's been really, really smart about having the code and having the corresponding publication. Because
it's like every
that innovation, having the
knows,
publication.
everybody knows who developed it before we don't use it anymore. Everybody knows who uses it before. Openly available. Intellectual property does not have to, can be free, but it's still intellectual property. So that's want to get that protection. And being a university knows. And then if they say it's still getting money off. That's all. I think that's my understanding. It doesn't want you to commercialize it.
Yeah, it gives us I want to commercialize.
Commercialize it. Still
Yeah, because I know people use my software, they do all the industry project. Sometimes they ask my questions through email. I just answer it to be good heart, to have a good heart to them. But they're actually making lots of money from their software. So. But if their internal report, how do we quantify all the things? Yeah, like, and again. Okay. Ask me one question, I charge $100 for industry people, something like that. Yeah, just like that happens a lot. Like.
Maybe there are other business models also that people are using it. We'll talk later. It's a consulting.
Yeah.
Industry charges
Yeah.
countries for, what's that? I said charge industry, but countries.
Yeah, it's expensive. But anyway, great work.
Oh, thank you so much.
The assessment course, which I will be doing.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I thank everyone for the great questions, and I'm available to talk. Yeah, this change of weather is very difficult for me, so thank you.
Don't complain too much, California years. She moved from the Bay Area. Went to the one lake that's
Not used to weather change too much.
Very nice presentation.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you could come. Good to see you. How are you doing?
You're from Davis? Yeah. Oh, you're from Davis too? Oh, wow, cool. Like, did you take the nutrition epidemiology that? For undergraduate. So, yeah. Did you take 112? Yeah.
I didn't, because I studied in clinical.
Oh, that would have been neat. We've got a small mafia. Do you see David?
where are you staying? I didn't sound like the place.
Yeah.